Okay, evening everyone. Thanks for coming to tonight's session. This is the She Hacks version of our International Women's Day virtual session. And the theme is Audacious Dream for Diversity and Cybersecurity. So I'll allow the guests to introduce themselves and then we can begin.
Thanks so much, Maria, for that. I'll take the lead for this, and I'm Eve Kilel. I'm a program manager focusing on cloud security and more so on Azure Network Security and Microsoft Defender for Cloud in Microsoft. And also I'm one of the co-founders of She Hacks, where we came up with this platform to push diversity and inclusion that we are celebrating today on with women. And I'll let Patricia pick up from there.
Evening, everyone. I'm Patricia. I work at Safaricom as the cybersecurity incident responder. I work with a team of awesome analysts. I am also one of the leaders at She Hacks. We started She Hacks with Eve and Laura and Jaylene in the beginning. So I hope you will enjoy this session for today, and we are glad to have you all here.
So you can go ahead, Jaylene.
Good evening. I meant to add maybe good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. My name is Jaylene Kirui. I am a senior cloud security advocate at Microsoft, and I mainly focus on DevSecOps and application security. And for inclusivity today, I'm wearing an African-themed hoodie, and I have a blurry background, but yeah. So I'm looking forward to the discussion today, and I hope we get to impact more and more ladies to get into cybersecurity.
I think Laura is left, so over to you, Laura.
Okay, thanks, Eve. First of all, it's very good to be here. It feels good to reconnect with the founders and founding members of She Hacks. Patricia, Jaylene, Eve, it's always an honor to be on the same platform as you, on the same panel as you. As Eve said, my name is Laura Titch. If you don't know me, I work in cybersecurity. I'm a consultant at a consultancy company called Boltec, and we do offer cybersecurity services. And our main clients, I'm very biased. I'm very passionate about digital security advocacy, and because of that, I'm very biased with who I get to work with. I like to work with at-risk organizations and communities, especially those that are very, very targeted, such as human rights defenders and journalists. So those are my main clients, or the people I always choose to work with. Yeah, and it's amazing to be here.
Awesome. Thank you, Laura, Patricia, and Jaylene for the introduction. Nice to meet everyone, and it's good to have you today, and hopefully you'll get to learn something. So I'll move forward to the different panel questions I had for you, and I'll start with anything you'd like to share with the team here today about you, more like the different icons to the work that you do, or even what you are looking forward towards diversity in cybersecurity more so, and more on the slide in which how best can we focus on that in She Hacks. So I'll start with Laura, and then you can hand off to someone, Laura. You're on mute. Sorry.
I turned on my video and forgot to unmute. So I've been very lucky to work with people who have the same vision as I do in terms of how we approach cybersecurity and who or what we do or who we work with. And so some of the people I really look up to, I've been very lucky, to be working with them. The likes of Matt Mitchell from Ford Foundation, Martijn Groten from Internews, Runa Sandvik, who has her own company that does the same thing that I do, and Shin Win, who works for Article 19. And these are people, and Brian Obilo, of course, who I work very closely with, because these are people who share the same cybersecurity experiences that I do, and also the same vision in cybersecurity. And one of the things that I learned from them is one of our the main things that we focus on is inclusion and diversity. And because of the people that we work with, we find ourselves focusing more on that the inclusion aspect of cybersecurity. And some of the things that I have learned from them in the past is, first of all, don't be scared getting into uncharted waters. For example, sometimes you might get requests to work with people in very dictatorial countries. And so you have to put yourself in their shoes and imagine what they're going through, and include them in your services, include them in how you operate or how you provide cybersecurity services. So for me, diversity and inclusion, it's all about gender. At the same time, it's all about religion. It's all about the different things that makes us who we are. So what I try to do is work with marginalized communities, marginalized people who maybe are still fighting for a place in society. And that is how I choose to approach cybersecurity. And for me, She Hacks is something that is a testimony to that, because I get to work with underrepresented groups, and that is women, and also get to work with students, young people who are coming up in the industry and who may need guidance and who may need to find a place in society as well. I hope I answered that question.
Yes, you have answered, and thanks again for the aspect of diversity more in the work-wise and also towards the She Hacks side. And I can take the mantle to Patricia based on the Women in Tech initiative that you're working in Safaricom also, aside from She Hacks also. So those are the two hats that you're wearing right now, and that is among the things that we are doing for diversity and inclusion. Over to you, Patty.
Thanks, Eve. So I started my career in cyber as an intern, specifically as a woman in technology intern. So Safaricom has this program for increasing the number of women in tech. It's a whole-term program that starts from high school girls. We speak to girls in the campuses. We speak to the ladies in the workplace. So the mission is advancing women from the classroom to the boardroom. So we want to have tech women, and we want to prepare that pipeline. So starting as an intern in WITS, it was an eye-opening experience for me. So it was a wonderful opportunity for me. I got to work in a very great team. And at the time I joined it, I think there's only one lady in the entire team. Right now, we are at almost 50-50 in cybersecurity. So WITS brought me into this industry, and they also made me aware that there are some challenges that are very unique to women who decide to take their path in technology or STEM in general, which, to be honest, I wasn't aware of. In my career now as a cybersecurity defender, I feel that diversity is very important for a defensive team. So if you're building a team of defenders, it would benefit you to have as diverse people as possible, because when you have different viewpoints, you're then able to defend against the attacker who is always different. who always looks for very innovative ways. So it's in your advantage to have a diverse cybersecurity team because it makes you much stronger. So thank you.
If you're on mute, sorry.
Thanks. The same mistake. I was saying over to you, Jaylene, and mostly about your aspects on diversity and what you've learned so far.
Oh, let me do it's Thursday, so I can do a little bit of TBT.
Yes.
So I remember back in the day when we were like, I don't know, maybe 6 ladies or just less than 10 in cybersecurity in Kenya. And then we used to have like Africa Hackon, and no lady would present back then. So I'm just so proud of where we've come from. I mean, like Eve and Laura presented at, was it DEF CON?
Black hats.
Black Hat in the other year. And yeah, and I also presented at DEF CON last year. So, and I'm seeing more and more ladies presenting. I'm so proud. I saw like a cyber girl called Jackie presenting at the Africa Hackon workshop that was happening earlier this month. And I was like, wow, we've come from far. Yes, we have a lot more to do, but there's great improvement for sure. And I totally agree with Patricia in terms of there's greatness in diversity. If you do not have a workforce that is diverse, let's just say you are hurting the company. By that I mean it's like using a 5-man workforce to build a house, and yet you have like 10 people there. Imagine how far you would go if all the 10 people would actually put in the work. So, and also like as ladies, there's always a way that we think that's very different from men. That's a reality. And this is something like we're so detail oriented. I know this one we hear a lot, but it's true. It's true. Even in projects, there's so many things that like men don't think about. And if we take our superhero skill here, like you'll make the products go bigger and better for sure. Yeah, so that's my take on diversity. Like, please, if you can, like, it's not hard. All these tech related courses are not hard. If there's a human out there who's actually done it, then it's very doable. So usually saying everything is figure outable. You can figure, you're able, and you can figure it out and you're able. So over to you.
Thank you, Jaylene. And I think based off the last statement you've said is we are all able, and you just need to put in the work needed for that. And just to add a little bit of my story to this is I share the same heart with Jaylene and Patricia in terms of we're all beneficiaries of the Women in Tech program from Safaricom, and that is where now the diversity and inclusion bit now started coming in. And it's beautiful to see organization coming to really support you around that. And for the next question I have, sorry about that. I'll start with Jaylene first. And Jaylene, what is the big difference that you see moving from Safaricom to now Microsoft where you are? And how do you feel about it? And what are the different things that you'd share with the team today?
Oh my, both employers might be listening. So but there is a big difference, I may say so, in terms of having a more global perspective in doing things. And also interacting. So diversity is not only like for women, the way we're talking today, but I've had to work with all kinds of people from Microsoft. And one thing that I've really come to appreciate is the kind of way that people work. Definitely, the way, like the West, people work in the West is very different from the way you work here. Here, sometimes we have like African timers, what else? But it's all also in the culture. So we have to appreciate also that the African culture is different as well. So I'll give an example. So if you have a meeting like this, I'll tell you, okay, so how are you? How is your family? You know, stuff like that. Even if it's not working, it's good, like just to be cordial and just have that kind of interaction. But you'll find like in other situations, like outside Africa, it's just hit to the point. You know, what's this meeting about? You do it, and then you return the hours back, or you turn the minutes back. So, and then I can say in terms of moving to Microsoft, like the tech space is definitely way bigger. It's big tech. So even if I usually say Safaricom is a big tech for Kenya, so we benefited a lot in terms of learning how to be offensive security or ethical hackers in terms of even hacking IoT systems, big data, mobile apps. Like we did almost everything in Safaricom, but now you're able to do it on a larger scope with Microsoft. And you are actually really challenging. They are quite key on the growth aspect, growth mindset, because they understand that, like for me, I work on Azure. Azure, like it's huge, but they give you time to take, to learn and have an overall view. And the people there are just quite helpful in terms of making you understand the different services and helping you around the world. So I've come to really appreciate the move to Microsoft. But I really, really enjoyed working at Safaricom for sure. Safaricom built us, and Safaricom is a great employer. In terms of culture, the Safaricom culture is really good. And in terms of growth, if you want to actually grow, they are really good as well. So in terms of diversity, I remember when it started off, it came from is it Thibault, and as well as Tony Oshanda, our HOD for cybersecurity at the time. So we're quite intentional about having more and more ladies. And by having more and more ladies, it's not that they are less skilled. No, these are ladies who have matched up in terms of the same interviews with the gentlemen as well. So it's very doable. It's just giving more opportunities as well to have a more diverse team. Over to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Jeline. And what I can add with that experience of we were in the same team in Safaricom, but different teams in Microsoft. And the two things I could add is the one part which is really great and I've learned in Microsoft is the aspect of growth mindset. See how best you can help yourself to move to the next place. And I think you can Google more about it and see what you can get. Then also there's a diverse aspect of the different teams that we have for security. It's not only one team. Jeline and I are in security, but we are in different teams. So it's quite diverse. There's so many teams. And yes, so I'll take the next question to Laura. So Laura, tell us more about She Hacks in terms of where you see us going and what best we can push forward for the next steps and maybe through the different programs that we have for the communities that we have in Kenya.
Thanks, Eve. So as the rest of the panelists, Eve, Patricia, and Joylene can attest, we started She Hacks as a WhatsApp group in 2016. We never in our wildest dreams envisioned it becoming what it is today. And we have been able to experience that growth, and it's very mind-blowing to see just how much you can achieve by having goals, setting goals, and having a vision for your community. For me, one of the biggest things that I'm really passionate about is community building, and you've seen what we've been able to do with She Hacks in terms of building a community of cybersecurity, women and students combined, and just trying to bridge the skills gap in the industry today. And so the past I'm going to say 6 years, because it's almost 6 years, has been a learning opportunity for all of us. And one thing that I have learned is not to limit our goals as a community. And so what we envision for the next few years, I want to see a growth in SheHacks that enables students and women especially to get into the cybersecurity workforce and have skills that will make them instrumental in the growth of the industry and make them assets to their own employers. And so we want to keep building on the programs we have. As you all know, we have the community program, which is the one that meets today on Thursdays. We have the student clubs or the student programs, and they meet every Tuesday at 7 p.m. We also have the child online protection, which is something that started when COVID hit, and we saw how students, especially young students, were targeted in terms of the Zoom calls. There was a lot of Zoom bombing. And so we decided to bring in the parents and primary school, high school students and just teach them about how they can stay safe online. And that story is just to show you that needs keep arising. And as we move forward, we want to be in a position where we as a community can be able to cater to those needs of the society, whatever comes our way. And so we want to keep building our expertise, building capacity, so that we will have answers whenever the questions arise, whenever problems arise, we will have solutions as a community. And so for the next few years, I want to, we envision a SheHacks that, first of all, is all over Kenya, one that is welcoming to all students from all backgrounds, just as we have been able to achieve to this day, and one that prepares these students and these entry-level professionals for bigger, better jobs within Kenya and also outside of Kenya.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Laura. And Patricia, same thing for you. And Mon, what would be the different story that you have about SheHacks, aside from what Laura has said?
So to just repeat what Laura says, it's amazing to see the growth that we've had and to see the impact that is out there in the community. My big dream for SheHacks is to make cybersecurity accessible to people who would traditionally not have access to cybersecurity. It's I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but cybersecurity has traditionally been an industry that is not very inclusive. And if you look at the community, the wider global community, there are people who look to keep people out, to just make the barrier to put a high barrier to entry. So you will find someone saying, if you don't have this many years of experience, you can't do this thing. If you don't have this skill set, you can't get into cyber. So I'm looking to make SheHacks a community where we can all be audacious and own this space in cybersecurity, and all of us to be aware that for as long as you have that grit, that drive, and that passion for cybersecurity, and you're willing to continually upskill yourself, you have a space here. You should be here and you belong. So just to make people feel that they belong, all these underprivileged people who are traditionally not thought as being part of cyber, like us women. The other thing about my dream for diversity and security, cybersecurity, would also be in the solutions that are being churned out. We will see when you look at threat intelligence tools that are being sold, we will see a lot of emphasis on threat actors in the West, in Europe, in Russia, in Asia, but there'll be just one line about these are the threat actors that are common in Africa. So these are the TTPs from this threat actor in Africa. So I hope that SheHacks can be the ground where we will have a community to share our own TTPs, our own IOCs, and even just profile the threat actors that are known to be active in Africa.
Awesome, thank you, Patricia. And what has stood out also for this part is the part where we need to have cybersecurity accessible to everyone, where anyone can be able to access the different safe spaces, like coming up with the different TTPs that are working for different organizations in different industries worldwide. Could be Africans, could be Americans, and all those. So it should be able to work for anyone and everyone. So going to the next ask is, it's for all of us now. And maybe Jolene, you can start. How did you end up at where you are right now? What are the different things you can share on the different maybe steps that you, or the effort that you put in to get to where you are now?
That's an interesting one, because so everyone's journey is definitely unique. Let me start by saying that. So don't compare yourself with the next person, saying that if I do exactly what someone did, that I'll get there as well. So just craft your own journey and customize it for your own need as well. So for me, I think, I should just say this. So I found myself in cybersecurity by accident, and I stayed by choice. So yes, so prior to getting into cybersecurity, I was a full stack software developer. And yes, I think I've mentioned this several times. One of my systems was actually compromised. So that's how I became curious, like, how can I be able to build more secure products? And so at that time, I remember the school that I was at, they were offering CH. So I took it just to understand the basics or the fundamentals of cybersecurity. And then after that, also used YouTube University or YouTube, just to learn how to also build more secure products. And then when I was about to finish university, I remember at that time, Safaricom used to actually headhunt. Those were the good old days. Nowadays, I don't think it happens. So yes, I received a phone call one day, and then I went in for an interview, and then I remember seeing so many people there, and I went in, put in my best effort, and then I received a phone call after like 2 weeks saying that I should go in and start. So I remember when I arrived, I was shocked, like, okay, where are the other people? So apparently they were just taking one person. So I started off as an information systems auditor in Safaricom, auditing M-Pesa systems, and using my software development, automating scripts to find any anomalies and doing the audit work as well. And then I pivoted over to the cybersecurity department. And I remember I started off as a SOC analyst for only 1 month. And I remember that's the time Patricia also joined Safaricom. So I remember at that time we were the first SOC analyst in Safaricom. So what we used to do, when we were starting off, even our HOD used to do SOC analysis. So it was a job for everyone. So even for me to learn, I used to go and shadow him. So we came from far, looking at where Patricia and team are doing right now, it's just amazing to see the progress. So, and then I stayed only 1 month and then moved over to the offensive security path, where I actually stayed from 2016 all the way to 2021. So when I was there, yes, as I mentioned earlier, we did offensive security, breaking stuff, working with developers to fix those stuff. And it was an amazing experience, especially learning a lot. I remember it was just mainly being thrown into the deep end, whereby you're told, okay, so we are starting to use Kubernetes. So you have no idea even what Kubernetes is. That's the time to getting more absorbed into the market. And now you have to understand, okay, so how can I be able to test these systems? And you have to start from scratch and learn a lot. So the thing with cybersecurity, every day is a learning journey. No one day is actually the same. The reason why we have like 0-day vulnerabilities, like it's always interesting. You always have to learn something new. And that's why like it's a profession that you won't get bored. But you always have to stay on top of your toes and learn for sure. And one thing that I'm quite happy is like even in the ecosystem, like in Kenya, the cybersecurity folks here are quite helpful. So the one thing that I'm usually quite keen on is public learning. I like that on Thursdays, like you can be able to plug in and also learn a particular concept and say that I want to be able to train next week or in 2 weeks on this particular concept that I've actually learned. So you know that if you train something, you're actually learning it better by yourself. You understand it better as well. So, and you also plug into the community. One key thing that I've seen, maybe Laura, Patricia, if you will correct me if I'm wrong, because there's a point also like even many companies used to come even to SheHacks just to look for talent, for vacancies, and how can you stand out from the rest? Is by being very active in the community as well and putting your best foot forward. But yeah, over to you.
Thanks, Jaylene. So I'll let Patricia take up and then Laura can pick up after Patricia. So Patricia, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Jaylene, you've taken me back to the days when you were starting the SOC. So like Jaylene alluded, I started my career at Safaricom. So before Safaricom, in university, we did a unit for information system security. And my interest was piqued, especially when you learned about crypto. So I was like, there's a whole new world of crypto, because prior to that, I didn't know something like crypto existed. So it's something that really got me interested. So when I got the chance to be an intern, I was fortunate enough that I had the chance to join the cybersecurity team, which at that time was a pretty young team. So I've been lucky that my career growth has been, I can say, parallel to the growth of the department here. So I started as an intern, I became a SOC analyst, and then there was an opening for an incident response manager, because now the SOC was growing. So there was the need to have someone to just take care of incidents end to end. And it's something that I've really enjoyed doing. And while I was growing, I was fortunate that my bosses held my hands and taught me how to work with people, how to work with a team, how to mentor people, how to guide people by looking at their leadership. And I came to realize as a cyber professional, it's important to have our technical skills. It's equally good to develop our soft skills. So these are your presentation skills. How do you speak out to people? Do you speak in jargon that people get lost in? These are our interpersonal skills, because cyber, we work with many stakeholders. This is just how we work, our work ethic, our drive, our grit, and that aspect of not giving up when things get tough. Also in the same line, I feel that my career, our Cyber Defense Center and SheHacks, they have almost grown in a parallel manner, from the WhatsApp group to now this vibrant community to, I dare say, a household name in the cybersecurity space. So it's one of the things I reflect back upon and I'm truly proud of.
Thank you, Patricia, for that. And I'll let you, Laura, close this part and let's see how you can pick it up for the different people here today.
Okay, thanks, Eve. So my journey has been quite different from everyone else on the panel and a lot of people out there, because I was not lucky enough to be employed and do something that I was passionate about. Since my first employment, it has always been a field that I may not have envisioned myself exploring or getting into. But just how I started it is I started learning cybersecurity when I was in third year in uni. And that I remember Africa Hackon came for a boot camp, and that just it got me so interested in the field because, first of all, I hated coding. And for every beginner, especially during my time, how we were always told that you don't necessarily need to learn coding to get into cybersecurity. So that's what got me more interested in the field. But of course, I also loved it. Like I was passionate about it before I got into it because I had watched movies, I had read stuff. So I knew it was a career that existed, but I didn't know where to start. So thanks to the bootcamp, it got me started. But when it came to employment, when I first got my first job, I think it was right before I graduated uni. It wasn't really something that I had considered or I had wanted to take up when I was picturing my career in cybersecurity. And so I feel like it's sort of, I don't want to use the word, but robbed me of a career path that I really wanted to explore. But at the end of the day, it built me and it gave me this idea of cybersecurity that not a lot of people have been able to discover. And that is, or maybe you have, but you haven't really explored it in that way, where cybersecurity is something that is a tool that can be used to protect even the most marginalized of communities and people. That Mama Mboga in northeastern Kenya is someone that can benefit from the work that I do. And so from there on, moved on to my second employment, then a cybersecurity training program. And training is something I'm very passionate about. But then I decided, I want to do more, and without any limitations. I want to decide or run my things the way I want them to be run. And so I left employment and got into self-employment, which is what I'm doing now. And so it's a very tough area because it's something that you decide how your schedule is going to be, you decide who your clients are going to be, and you also you don't have like a stable or a source of income in a way, because you don't have a monthly salary as someone who's self-employed. But at the end of the day, just getting to decide who I want to work with, what I want to do, it also gives me a lot of perspective into what I need to learn to be better in the things that I offer. So running that company and also being a part of the She Hacks founders is such a great experience for me, because you learn all these things about leadership. And of course, I have a friend, God rest his soul. He used to say, you can never lead beyond your exposure. So for you to be a good leader, especially in the field that we have been tasked with, you have to also learn things. You have to be able to answer questions for mentees who come to you. I'm not saying that you should know everything, but it's good to have knowledge so that you can be able to guide those who come after you. I keep going off topic, but that's just who I am. I hope I have answered that question well, Eve.
Oh, that was big. Thank you so much, Laura. I think I'm lots of words to add to it, but yes, thank you so much for it. And basically, what I could add to this mostly is, I'll go back to what someone like Bright normally says: put in the effort needed for whatever you're working on. And as Laura said, don't be afraid. Just put in, just push and try get what you deserve. And then back to Google first. If you're new to something, just Google first, see what you can learn, because there are so many resources that can bring up to you. And what I've learned in Microsoft is ask questions, like based on that you're Googling, is there something that is not clear? There are experts out there that can give you the right clarity for the same. And like Jolene said earlier, YouTube. And now the last part is Patricia said that we need to build things around diversity across the globe, really. Then I think about the second last question is, the last bit is, since we are speaking about like the Audacious stream, right? How does it look like? Maybe we can start with you, Patricia, and then Jillian, and then Laura can close it out for us for that one. So for our big Audacious stream, how does it look like as She Hacks, for example? So over to you, Patricia.
Thanks, Eve. I think I mentioned a bit earlier that my dream for diversity is to make people feel that they belong in this space, remove the barriers to entry, remove the aspect of making it seem like an elite space to be in. So for as long as you are willing to put in the hours, you're willing to do the groundwork, you're willing to learn, you have grit, you're passionate about it, you should be able to come into this space and thrive and grow and make an impact in the world of cybersecurity as a whole. And also just to be able to come up with homegrown solutions for Kenya, for Africa, so that we also develop our own. The example I gave for CTI, our own tools that are geared to our unique information. You know, we are in our ecosystem is quite different from the West. So having that understanding the ability to build our own village tools, that would be great. And that's what I'm looking forward to, looking ahead, hoping to see it coming to fruition. And also now having different voices in cyber, making it known that you don't need to have done IT, electrical, computer engineering. For as long as you can learn, you're welcome. Come to this space. Let's make it more secure so that we all work towards making the web, making the world more secure. That's my dream.
Oh, thank you so much, Patricia. Let's hear what Laura has to say, so I'm able to pick a last statement to what we are talking about.
Sorry,
okay,
yeah, Jolene.
No. Okay, Jolene, and then Laura.
Okay, so I think Patricia has just stole the points out of my mouth. But maybe one thing I can add, the goal of building our own product. Another dream is that us as Africans consume those products as well. We usually have this mentality that products built from other places are better. So I need us just to, to like and have confidence in what we are building. I mean, like I have come across so many people within Kenya and Africa that are so talented. And I want us all just to bring our best foot forward and build a better, secure Africa. And it's very doable, but it needs our collaborative efforts. And it's not like a competition, because I believe that there are enough resources, enough opportunities for us, and we need to all work together. Okay, and yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Over to you, Laura. I'm getting one thing across. Maybe let's hear you.
Yeah, I totally agree with what both Patricia and Jolene have said. I remember when we were starting out, we had some guys in the cybersecurity community in Kenya had built their own tools. We had Christian, who had built the Mara framework for mobile application security. We had Munir, who had something for web. We had Jade, who had his own operating system for I think it had inbuilt security tools, but I don't remember correctly. And right now I'm listening to Jolene and Patricia, and I'm like, where did that fire go? Like it's been a while since I've seen locally built products. I want to see a future where we move from paying, there was an antivirus called Bunifu. I think that was by Kim Flex, Kim Top.
Yes.
Yeah, and first of all, those are all men. I need women to start, building. No hate to them, like they're doing a fantastic job. They did a fantastic job. But I want to see women sort of getting out of their cocoons and because I know there's a lot of trolling, a lot of imposter syndrome, a lot of, can I really do this? But I want to see, it's in the title of this talk. I want to see the audacity. I want to see you actually dreaming big and doing it, and building products that can be used by our local communities. I almost spoke in Kiswahili. There's an international audience, but I'm so tired of paying for things in dollars or converting things into Kenya shillings before paying for them. Like, let us for once be charging in Kenya shillings and having those people convert them to dollars. And so let's just keep building each other, keep encouraging each other, and building products for our communities, and encouraging our communities to actually use these products, as Jaylin said and Patricia said.
Thank you, Laura and Jaylin and Patricia. What has stood up is the aspect of being our authentic selves. As we try to build something, let's be the most authentic versions of ourselves, and that's how we can push the right products that we need in this market. Since we're almost out of time, I'm going to ask a last question. Let's say about SheHacks. What are the different challenges that we are facing right now? Of course, money, but what else? So we can start with you, Jaylin, and then we go forward to Patricia, and then Laura.
Yeah, so actually, here Eve talking a lot about sponsorship. So please, if you're out there and you have money, please send through, because it goes out to a very impactful cause for sure. And I have seen very many ladies who have benefited from SheHacks, and there's a lot more that can go into even having greater impact with their support.
Awesome. So over to you, Patricia.
Sometimes we get caught up in enumerating our challenges. We forget the wins that we have. So I don't know if you're planning for this later on, but I just want to shout out our awesome team at SheHacks. We have Maria, who's doing an awesome job coordinating this event. We have Nancy, our program lead, who's coordinating everything. And then we have a bunch of other people. We have Christina and Biru, we have Mr. Kita, who churn out awesome content for us. So I can say sometimes we do request people to come in and do presentations, and it can be a bit challenging to coordinate people, to get people to do that. And sometimes we do call outs to volunteers, and it's a bit challenging to get people to come and assist us. But I don't want to make it seem like our superheroes in the back are not doing an awesome job. So that's why I started by acknowledging their awesome job. And then I think a challenge that we might be facing as a collective community is that we might tend to hold ourselves back. So I'm speaking because this is a community for women. So we will not raise our hands up until we feel we've ticked all the boxes. I would not want to speak about monitoring unless I feel since I have become the SME. So, and I would like to challenge us now to stop holding ourselves back, to believe in ourselves. And in the popular Swahili saying, tuende roho juu. Yeah, so I hope to see more of us ladies going roho juu and conquering that space as a way to overcome our challenge of holding ourselves back, to make the space diverse and inclusive and awesome.
Awesome. Thank you, Patricia. Over to you, Laura.
If, of course, I'm going to mention the funding because as people know, like everything that we offer at SheHacks is totally free because we understand, we know where we've come from, and we do know the communities that we're dealing with. Sometimes some students might not be able to afford some things. So we want, our goal, as we've talked about throughout this session, is to make cybersecurity education accessible for everyone. And so because it's free programs, free trainings, free everything, and please note we have SheHacks clubs in 40 campuses across Kenya. We also need the support when it comes to the logistics, planning for these things. And it could be in the form of someone could come and say, hey, let me take care of meals for 30 people for a training. Let me take care of t-shirts for even 5 people. So any sort of help we can get, whether monetary or in kind, we are very open to that help. But as Patricia has said, and let me reiterate, we don't want to leave anyone behind. As a community, you are as strong as your weakest link. And so for this cybersecurity community, we want to make sure that everyone grows with us. So one challenge that we face is sometimes people hold back, as Patricia said, people hold back, they don't want to reach out whenever they need help, or you're scared. Maybe you've been in the industry for 2 years and you don't, there's something you don't understand, but you're too scared to ask. There's no shame in asking, there's no shame in not knowing, because we all start from there. Not everyone knows everything at all times. Like always be, and this is to the community, please do not be afraid to reach out to us, because we want to all grow and move forward as a community, and we want to see ourselves bringing in more people from all the areas of Kenya and bringing in more students. So yeah, donors, help us, and students, please let us all grow together. Yeah.
We should capture the minutes in which this video is, so we share out to as many people as we can.
Yeah, and before I forget, speakers as well. Speakers, yes. Yeah, come speak at a SheHacks event, even if you're an absolute beginner. This is actually your platform. This is why we built SheHacks. Come, no one will troll you. We are very supportive. So just come through, come speak at SheHacks.
Yeah. So the biggest goal that we have right now, the biggest support is financial and also volunteers. So we have 2 aspects of volunteering: the articles, which again we can pay you for, and then secondly, there's the part for training. So you can volunteer to be one of our trainers. That's now free of charge. We don't have enough money to pay out for that one. But thank you so much, Laura, Patricia, and Joylene, for this. It's been really a great session. And I believe I should give back Maria her 2 minutes. And we were so ambitious with the questions we had, as we had about 8, and now we have only covered 4 only. And it's good that we have, because a lot of them have actually been answered with what we have given so far. And I can give back now, Maria, the 2 minutes, and also the team in charge. And thank you so much for attending the session today. Looking forward to you joining the next one. And I was hoping that Laura, Patricia, and Jolene will be there, as we'll have good attendance in that. Yes. So over to you, Maria. Then I close.
Thank you, guys, for giving your time for this session. It was inspiring to hear how far you came, and I feel like one thing that stood out for me was like the collaboration between you guys. Like, I feel like there's a lot of support amongst you guys, and I hope that someone picked up some key points on what they could do in terms of in their careers tonight. Some inspiration and some pointers. So thank you everyone for coming. Hopefully you'll come to our next session. We have sessions on Tuesdays and Thursdays, as we've had. So looking forward to hosting you guys again. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone. Good night
Good
and
night,
good
everyone.
morning. Bye.
Good night.